Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with Vanderbilt women's basketball head coach Shea Ralph and freshman Mikayla Blakes after today's victory at Florida. We'll go ahead and open up the floor for questions and the Zoom for questions for Mikayla first. We will take questions in person, and then we'll open up the Zoom. So if there's any questions for Mikayla here in person, raise your hand.
So Michaela, do you realize you tied the record for this building in points scored? Chris Jackson, I'm sure he played with Shaq with LSU in 1989 at 53 points.
Oh wow, I didn't know that at all. Thank you.
What was going on? I mean, were you just in a zone? I mean, how do you describe the performance, I guess?
I think just getting into that mode that I'm going to do whatever my teammates need me to do to win, whether it's scoring, whether it's playing defense or coming in help side and helping with the post, just anything like that. I'm going to take pride in that.
Were you aware you were closing in on 50 points?
Not really. I wasn't really focused on that. Just making my free throws, which I missed a couple, but
she's still mad that she missed free throws. She has no idea how many points she scored.
Yeah.
No, but still, I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
It is, yeah. But the player, and I'm going to only speak to that because it's a good question. You're not going to get her to answer it the way that you want because she's super humble. But the thing that she said is true about her is that, she will do, and this is the game that we played here in this building tonight, but whatever the team needs. And the crazy thing is God gave her what she needs to do all of it. So if it's deep, I mean, maybe the only thing until we get in the weight room is posting up. Not quite there.
Yeah.
But if anything else our team needs her to do, she will do it day in, day out, practice game. Today we happen to need 53 points from her, and she gave us that.
Any more questions here in person? We'll go ahead and open up the Zoom for questions. We'll start with Elena Morris. Go ahead, Elena.
Michaela, when you hear that you passed Juju Watkins for most points scored by a freshman ever in NCAA history, what comes to your mind?
I mean, just greatness. She's a really great player. I looked up to her a lot just watching her, especially when I was in high school and then also in middle school. So just to be able to do something that she's done before, it's just exciting, and I'm proud of myself.
Aria Gerson, Tennessee. Go ahead, Aria.
Yeah, Michaela, to put up these two performances that you have the past two games, how has that felt, and what has it kind of meant to you to put up these performances and then get the wins that you have?
I mean, it's just meant the world to me. I think for myself, I don't get too high. Maybe you might get low a little bit, but I'm just going to try and stay level-headed with everything. I'm happy I scored these points, but I'm mostly excited just that we won this game and that we're continuing to make history here and continue to win SEC games. So I'm just happy about that performance, but also the team's win as well.
Any more questions for Mikayla on the Zoom? Brandon Bigsby. Go ahead, Brandon.
Mikayla, obviously the 53 points so impressive, but to do it as efficiently as you did, 16 for 24 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, 16 for 18 from the line, what did you feel like attributed to you being able to really just hit your shots as efficiently as you did as well?
I think not being scared. I think when you come into these games, especially the SEC, you can't play scared because you're gonna be like blood in the water. So just coming out here and playing with confidence, especially as a freshman, and then just continuing to make reads and just read the floor.
All right. Mikayla, thank you for your time. Congratulations on your record.
Thank you.
We'll wait until Mikayla walks out of the room, and then we'll go ahead and open up the floor for Coach Ralph. All right, Coach, we'll take an opening statement after today's victory at Florida.
I told the team in the locker room that I thought it was a really, Michaela had one of the most incredible performances that I've ever seen as a coach, and I've coached a lot of really good players for a long time. And that's not taking anything away from them. I think when you see a player like her do what she did tonight, sometimes she makes things that are really, really hard to do look really easy. And that's a sign of someone who's just gifted. And the cool thing is that she has those gifts physically, but she's built different internally, which is why you see her do this day in and day out. And the things that she does that aren't in the spotlight, that aren't in buildings with scoring records, are just as impressive. So number one, I'm glad she's on our team. I'll say that. But I also told her that, and the team in the locker room, that she didn't do this by herself tonight. This was a great team win on the road. It's like Armageddon in the SEC. Every time you go on the road, every time you're at home, every time you have a game, you're in a fight for your life. And no matter how much we were up today, credit to Florida because they never quit. And they kept coming back at us and coming back at us. They fought hard. They play hard. I've known Kelly for a while, and she does a really great job with them. So credit to them because they made us really earn this one. I thought that Ayanna Mitchell came in and did some great things. Justine Pizzat came in and did some awesome things. Maddie Green came in. Obviously, Leilani too. So there were some wonderful contributions that I think we'll be able to build on, as well as, maybe a historic performance from a freshman.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up the floor here for questions. If you have any in person, raise your hand.
You guys had a pretty commanding lead. Gators kind of pushed back,
Yeah.
and they made it, a little bit tenuous there in the fourth quarter. What do you think they kind of did, and just they showed some fight?
They did. I think we took our foot off the gas a little bit. And like I said, I don't want to take anything away from them because they did play hard. And it's really easy when you're down that much to give up. But they didn't. And I felt like we started to play on our heels a little bit. There was a lot of fouls called in the game, so we were in a little bit of foul trouble, moving people around on the court, in and out of the game. Also disrupted the rhythm a little bit. So I think there's a lot of contributing factors. I don't really pay attention. I don't think it was one thing. I think in the end, you just kind of have to ride the waves, right? The game of basketball is ebbs and flows. We make a run, they make a run, and you have to do what it takes to win the game. So at the end, that's kind of what we were focused on, right? We were focused on making sure that we were able to make those plays defensively and offensively to close out the game, and that's what we did.
The turnovers, how critical was the turnovers and the offensive rebounding? It seemed like you guys did those things, the little things to really kind of keep them at bay.
Yeah, we did. We didn't turn them over. I think they had 14 in the first half. Only 4. Thought they handled our pressure a little better in the second half. And then we weren't able to keep them in front of us. So we weren't able to apply a lot of pressure before we could get them in a trap. They were going by our perimeter players, getting by our post players to the rim. And if they missed layups, we were out of rebounding position, which is why you saw the offensive rebounds, because we were having to help every time someone put the ball on the floor. That's not what we teach. So we'll have some great film to watch and make sure that we get back to our defensive principles. But they just kept attacking. And then that was smart because we were in foul trouble as well. We weren't able to keep them in front, and it kind of snowballed for us a little bit there.
We'll go ahead and open up the Zoom. We'll start with Elena Morris. Go ahead, Elena.
Shay, you kind of touched on it. Just, you've coached a lot of great players, but watching Mikayla do what she did tonight, set that record, where does that kind of stack up in what you've seen in your coaching career?
I wish I had a mind like an elephant, but I don't. I think part of that's having a daughter. I have to forget a lot of things and that she does from time to time. I would say there's 2 that stick out to me. And I don't want to get caught up in the comparison game with Mikayla because I don't think that's fair. That's why I don't talk about it a lot. She's different. But she is built similarly internally to Maya Moore. I remember a game her freshman year, we played at home in Hartford. Her sophomore year, we played at home in Hartford. Kid hit 10 threes. I think most of them were in the first half. We were up by 40. She was blocking shots off the backboard. I mean, it was unbelievable, the things that she was doing. She would win games single-handedly like Mikayla did today in a lot of ways. That was Maya in a nutshell. And she was like that in everything. She was our best student. You couldn't play a game of Uno with her. You couldn't. It wasn't fun. It's like Mikayla. It's the same thing because she's just a competitor. She's built different. And then differently, but in a similar fashion, Breanna Stewart, because of how effortless the game looks for her. And that reminds me of when I watch Mikayla, it looks effortless to me, a lot of things that she does. But I played basketball for a long time, and I didn't get close to doing some of the things that she does every day. So in terms of some of the greatest performances, I'm not sure I've seen one from a freshman with my own 2 eyes like I saw today. But she sure stacks up there with some of the other players that I've coached throughout their career.
Thanks. Aria Gearson, we'll go ahead. And if you have any other questions for Coach, please raise your hand. And if not, this will be the final question.
Yeah, Shay, Camille Pierre didn't play too much in the fourth quarter. Is she okay?
She's fine.
final question, Brandon Bigsby. Go ahead, Brandon.
Coach, it feels like you really had to rely on some of your bench players. I know you mentioned Justine Bassett, but obviously Madison Green with some big minutes down the stretch, Anna Mitchell getting 17 minutes with Ani Kapanis again stepping up. What did you feel like you saw from some of those players that kind of had their number called, especially down the stretch when you guys were looking to close things out?
I think the cool thing about a lot of kids that you're mentioning are that they just try to be the best in the role that they've created for themselves, and they want to do what it takes to help the team win. And that looks different than some of the players, you know, like Mikayla, like Ayanna. Their role looks different. And I do want to speak to what Justine did today, because I thought she played some really critical minutes for us. And Justine's kind of gone through it a little bit here, you know, like starting, not starting, playing around different positions. She's really working hard out of the spotlight to make sure that she can be a constant and consistent contributor. And today she got the opportunity, and she did. And so I think that speaks volumes to the kind of kid that she is, the character that she has, to just let her role continue to evolve so that it can be whatever the team needs her to do. You know, Maddie Green, obviously we needed her to do some things defensively today, handle the ball a little bit so we could get Mikayla off the ball. In a similar fashion, I thought she showed up and really did a great job. And then Mitch was just, you know, we needed some size. We needed some size in there to help rebound and defend. She got into some really early foul trouble. I was proud of her that she didn't foul out of the game. I thought that was huge for her today.
All right, Coach. Well, congratulations on the victory, and we will talk to you after Sunday's Ole Miss game.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.